Okay, so I don't know what happened, but anyway, what I was saying to him is that I think sometimes a parent may be protecting their child when they do that, because if your child is at the age where they can recognize whether or not another parent is saying they're going to come pick them up at a certain time and they're not there, then that's a huge disappointment for some kids when their parent repeatedly fails to show up and they are expecting to go with them. So I can see where a parent or a mother or father, even in that instance, would want to protect their kid from that constant disappointment.
So protect your child by saying no, your father. You can't go see your father. That's really protecting your child. I don't think so. Sorry, you may think, or they may think that they're protecting their child, but like I said earlier, in essence, they're hurting them. They're hurting them even more because now you're depriving the child the opportunity to see the father. Yes, he may, like I said, he may fall short. Don't come lie, but if you keep lying to a child is not gonna. A child is not gonna let that just go. Because sooner or later they're gonna start being like, uh, "Daddy, why you told me this?" or "Daddy, why you said this?" or whatever the case may be. It just what, in my opinion, what happens is it doesn't move fast enough for the woman. Uh, for her to see that the man is, for the child to see that the man is not hitting on anything, or his father's not whatever the case may be. They want instant gratification of the children or the child knowing that the father's nothing, basically.
No, but that's a bitter woman that would do something like
It's
that.
not a bit. It's bitter.
It is.
I don't. Go ahead.
No, because a woman who is just trying to protect, it's not like, oh, well, they want instant gratification that the kid immediately knows. I think they just want to protect the child at the point that the child begins to notice that. Like, as a parent, how would you feel if your kid keeps saying, "Why my dad didn't come see me?"
And that's what I was getting ready to allude to. That's that's what y'all worry about. That's unfortunately, here's where it's gonna get iffy. Uh, that's that. I was getting ready to say that. That's what y'all worry about. Mommy, why my daddy won't do this? Mommy, why my daddy won't do that? Then you have the appropriate way to handle that. As frustrating as it is, I'm not saying that's not frustrating. Is, you know what, baby? I don't know. Ask your father, and that's how you handle that. No, you don't want to. You think that's hurting your kid, but what in essence what it is doing, is actually maybe even, I would say, helping the child, because at that point the child, once the child start questioning the absent father of why you're not doing this and why you're lying to me, is one or two things going to happen with that. Either the father's going to change, or he's just going to disappear altogether. And him disappearing altogether is 100% on him, and the child will see that, because then when the child come to you, the next thing is, I want to see my dad, or why. Well, then you give the child the phone and say, well, call him. So when the father's not answering, then you're putting it all on the father. It's not, to me, it's just not your place to remove a parent from somebody's life. You don't talk bad or none of that. You just allow the child to see it yourself. I'll give y'all an instance of something that happened to me with one of mine. Um, I Everybody know I hate child support. Whatever. Was paying my child support on time. This, that, and the third. Make a long story short, one of my kids' moms was talking bad about me, but yet I still was doing everything I was supposed to do for my kid. And as my child got older, 15, 16 years old, her lash out came in a public event at her mother, because her mother had said all this time I wasn't doing this and I wasn't doing that and I wasn't hitting on anything, which was the far from the truth. And her mother had said something, and she was like, well, why my dad got to do this? My dad always do that. My point is, I never argued with her. I never talked bad about her. I let my daughter see for herself, and it works out. Now, it took 15 years, so I didn't get the instant gratification, but the gratification came. But as long as you allow your children to see, they're gonna see.
Yeah, but you don't think that's traumatizing?
How is it
In the
traumatizing?
meanwhile, like, cause why
So you think it's trauma? You don't think it's traumatizing if you just take the kid away from the father? Meanwhile, y'all gonna have 3 or 4 relationships and bring other men in, and then them men come in and pop out too.
Okay, really?
That's traumatizing
No,
too.
we ain't talking about those type of
Yeah,
situations. We talking about
so the woman gonna stay single forever.
No, but why she gotta have 3 or 4 relationships?
Because
Then pop in
that's
there.
what happens.
No, that ain't what happen all the time, babe. That's just some.
It
that's
happens the
certain
majority
people.
of the time.
That's certain people. That ain't everybody. I'm just saying, don't you think it's traumatizing for a child to have to go through that? Like maybe the child may grow up to start questioning you. Why was you letting that happen instead of just protecting me? Like you're supposed to protect your child.
Okay, so then it comes back. Then the child comes. You take the child away. Then the child, because the child's gonna go find the father, because he or she wants answers. So when the child go finds the father, now you give the father another out, because guess what? He can say, "Oh, I was trying, and your mother stopped me from seeing you." So what is that? What's gonna happen then? Then you gotta answer. Well, why did you stop? Well, baby, I was trying to protect you. They want to hear that crap. Really.
I don't know. I can see where I can, like I said, I can see both sides. I can see where where a woman may think she's protecting it, and in some way, it is protecting your child.
Well, how about sometimes the man don't want to be around y'all ass? Don't get on here and start trying to act like we don't have that could be happening too. The man don't want to be around you, and that's part of the reason he don't come through neither. So that's a whole different weird reason.
But we're not. That's again. So we talk differently. We're not talking about these baby mamas that be acting all extra and wanting a man to be around them. Like you ain't got to be around the woman to pick up your kid. That doesn't make sense. Like you can pick up your child and take your child somewhere. You don't have to be around the woman. You don't even have to really communicate with her like that, except saying, "Hey, I'm picking them up at this time, dropping them off at this time, and we gonna be here. This is where how you can reach them."
Yeah, understandable. But what I'm saying, okay, we'll take that out of the realm. But what I'm saying is, I'm hard on men than a lot of women. So I'll say this. Let's say the guy's just a total no good piece of crap, right? So therefore, he lied to the kid. He pops in, pops out. Well, what happens if it's one day he had an epiphany and decided to, you know what, let me be a great father. And then that day he calls the child, and that's the same day that you decide you don't want him to be around the kid. Then what happens? Now he didn't change his mind of how he want to interact with the kid. And again, let me be clear. I'm not justifying any man popping in and out of a child's life. It's 100% wrong. I want to say that and get that out there. But I'm just saying you never know when somebody's going to change their mindset and change who they are. Unfortunately, better late than never. And I don't care what you say, what any lady on here says. You guys will sit there where it's just not fair. I'm the mother. I've been doing this, that, and the third. And absolutely, I agree. But what happens is this is a whole other conversation. When you have a child and you become the custodial parent, it's just those things that unfortunately women go through too many times. But it still doesn't give you the right to remove or have control or when and if a kid can see the parent. Sorry.
Well, like I said, I can see where a person would do that. I can see where they would do it. I can see their reasoning behind it. I'm not saying it's necessarily right to do it, but I can understand why a person would do it to protect their kids. At the end of the day, I do think they need to allow the child to see what the parent is doing. So, and I think the more appropriate way to protect the child when the father shows inconsistency is to try to explain to the child that they're still loved regardless. And that's one of the ways you protect them. And then again, step up and do what he needs to do. And I agree. I don't think it's up to the parent to take a child away from another parent, because then the child could come back and that could bite you in the butt by them blaming you. So I do think it's good for the child to see that. So basically, I'm just saying I can see it from both ends. I can see where a woman would feel like she's protecting her child by doing that, because it can be traumatizing to some kids. Some kids have abandonment issues and everything else because of that very reason. But
so basically, you just agree with what I said, because I can understand. I can understand, me personally. I can understand why a woman would think that she's protected, but in essence, you're not. I'm sorry, because even with you using the abandonment issues, so you trying to tell me the kid is gonna feel more abandoned if the father's stepping in and out, then if the mother just taking a less abandoned, if the father stepping in and out, if the mother just take the kids away. No, either one of those situations are going to give them abandonment issues if they're going to have them. Period.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So therefore, it's like, again, you're not doing any. You're doing more harm by removing the father, because while you don't want to see your child hurt, understood. I mean, you still removing the child is still gonna do more harm. It's gonna be equally as harmful. I'll say that, if not more, because again, if you do it the way that I described, in my opinion, if you do it the way that I described, putting it all on him, the child is not gonna come back to you and ask you, why did you not let me see my father or whatever, because the child is going to see, Dad, I tried to call you, Dad, I tried, you wasn't there, you didn't answer my phones, you lied to me, this, that, and the third, versus when the child goes to approach him, oh, well, I tried, your mother wouldn't let me.
Okay, yeah, but what circumstances do you think is ever okay for a parent to keep a child from their parent, from another parent?
If the child is being harmed, molested, abused, uh, uh, it, this is an argument that we had before too. If the living conditions is less than desirable, which you said that was subjective, I don't think that a parent. I don't. I, I don't know. I'll leave it at that. We'll have that discussion later. But abuse, partly alienation of a kid from another parent, which that's basically what that is. Um, if the other parent is if the other parent is trying to not let one parent see the kid, something like that, then yeah. But I mean, that definitely ain't it to me. Sorry.
Well, I think the problem is that most people don't understand where it's coming from. They
Understand
don't
where coming from.
why a woman is withholding. I mean, if, for example, if a woman is legitimately feeling that she's protecting her child, like I said, I can understand that. But I think a lot of man that child who are withholding it, say withholding it because he's inconsistent, but really it goes deeper than that, and there's a whole lot of other stuff, reasons why they're
like to say the best interest. You should, if you think that withholding a child in any facet by the imagination from the other parent is helping the child, unless the child is going over there being put in a drug infested, a dangerous area where it's being molested or touched, and even to extent depending on the type of language being used. Like you got the kid over there talking about, ooh, F you and stuff like that. Yeah, that's not a conducive environment to raising a productive child. So in those circumstances, I wouldn't even say. So let me say this. What I'm trying to say is, if I bring my child to my house and I'm talking about, and I'm allowing the kid to curse and do all of that, still not a reason for somebody to keep the child away. Maybe shorten up the visitation, monitor the visitation. Um, you know what? I may, if that's not a conducive. I don't know. I have to think about that one. It's not really because you're not teaching the child anything that's productive, that's going to make them a vital member of society. If you're allowing them to do those type of things, you're steering them in a confused, uh, destructive direction if that happens. So that may be a reason that I would say that I understand why you're protected. Somebody can be protecting their kid in that way.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you still have to raise a child, whether you're together or not, you, in a way that the child supposedly raise a child where the child is going to be a productive member of society. And if you're allowing your child to talk and act that way, and hit on people and not correct it or stuff like that, then you send the child back home and it has more structure, then the child gonna be confused as heck. They ain't gonna allow that, but I would think that was a good reason.
Yeah.
But because somebody's slacking on their visitation. Nope, I'm sorry.
What if they're slacking on their visitation because they're narcissists? Wouldn't that play a role in it?
Uh, yeah, but that's
They're not gonna ever change. So then what you do?
unfortunately, I just think that every child is going to have some type of relationship or should have some type of relationship with the other parent. If they're a narcissist, again, I'm sorry, ladies, but what y'all should do if the other parent is if the male is a narcissist, try to prepare your child the best way possible to I mean, of course, you can't do it at a young age, without talking bad about the parent. Just prepare the child the best way possible. Makes your job harder. I get it. Hey, I get it. Makes your job harder, but prepare the child the best way possible you can. That's protecting your child to deal with it. You should be a counselor.
Whatever.
And as y'all see, I'm always right.
You're not right.
I'm very right. And this is a gentle debate.
But I think no, because I said I saw from both angles. I was just saying, like, I can understand why that be protecting the kid at the same time. But I think in conclusion, which best way to avoid all that is try to have babies with somebody that you married to or gonna be with for a long time.
Yeah, but in
Stop
those
having these kids with
situations,
these random people.
but in those situations, you still could be married and then have the woman or the man go out there and cheat, and the next thing you know, now you got well, I guess if we're not talking about the bitterness of it, then that's
Right,
different.
yeah.
So that's all I gotta say, people.
All right.
And I'm right. Tell her I'm right.
Whatever. I'm right.